Good day. This is episode 81, December 11th, 2018. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. Got a exciting segment for you guys today. Exciting episode. I want to first talk about James Comey. We have got to talk about James Comey and review where we are with this man. I want to mention a little bit about the debate that the Donald had with the Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They were in the Oval Office today. I think they were in the Oval. It's pretty exciting. Chuck Schumer got a little animated. I want to talk about Google. Sundar Pichai. I mean, really unbelievable stuff about Google. I think they're being totally exposed here. I want to talk about a great article in the American Spectator about Afghanistan. I want to kind of sum that up. Mention a little bit about Hillary and shoplifting, and then wages between men and women, and close with a topic about the word of wisdom in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I had a friend ask me about that today. So I want to just talk about James Comey. Okay, this is really amazing. This is a really cool article in the American Spectator by George Newmeyer. Entitled Comey, Careless and Corrupt. I remember when I found out about who the FBI director was, because James Comey, a few years ago when Obama was president, he was trying to get force Apple, just totally going berserk. There was a shooting over in California. I think it was that couple, the terrorist couple. I think, he went in and shot up a bunch of people at work. And James Comey said he needed Apple to unlock that iPhone that guy had. I had some friends who are really into tech, and then read some articles about tech. And, it's just totally obvious that for most people that, the FBI can pay people to get in through back doors on some things. But if Apple unlocks that iPhone for the FBI, therefore, if they put a back door into the iPhone, then anyone can go through that back door. Okay, that back door is then anyone with any brains at all can get through that back door. So it would totally, James Comey, and trying to force Apple to get the information. It turned out that they got the information anyhow. James Comey was once just put in the limelight, just going crazy against Apple and trying to threaten the security of all Americans, anyone who owned an iPhone at that time. A very self-centered, kind of a crazy man, was lying to the public at that time. Many techies felt like he was lying about how the FBI couldn't get into the iPhone and these things. So anyhow, this guy, is amazingly corrupt. And now he gives his testimony. And, it's funny, he's teaching ethics at William and Mary right now. I mean, it's just so ironical. There's so much irony with him. So this FISA warrant, okay, really what happened here? This is the bottom line here is that the Obama administration used the FBI to spy on the Trump campaign. Okay, that is really what happened. Now, remember Richard Nixon and Watergate break-in. Richard Nixon apparently had some henchmen, break into the Watergate Hotel, into the Democrat National Committee's office to try to find some information. I can't remember what he was looking for, but that is what they did. The Republicans... the Nixon administration, Nixon was very paranoid, and that was what we found out. They broke in. Did Nixon use the FBI to break into the Watergate Hotel, the Democrat National Committee, to spy on them? No, he did not. No, he just used these henchmen, these thugs, to break in, some of these men to break in and do this illegal act, okay? So look what Obama did. Under the Obama administration, James Comey of the FBI, okay, they used a FISA warrant, okay? So the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for this dossier this Steele dossier to be made up to find dirt on Donald Trump. This was unverified information. They gave it to the FBI. Okay, we know how he did that because that Bruce Orr's wife worked for Fusion GPS that was being paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign. The Republicans paid for Fusion GPS research too, but that was separate from this. So the Democrats, HRC, is paying for a dossier trash to be dug up on Donald Trump. And then they used this unverified dossier and they gave it to James Comey. And James Comey went to the FISA court to initially didn't get approved, but then it got approved by the FISA court. So therefore they can spy on Carter Page, who is in the Trump administration. So James Comey now is admitted, and now he's denied not even knowing what the dossier was about, where it came from, the verification. He's just denying just basically everything that he didn't know. So this is one of the most important things that James Comey ever did at the FBI. He gets handed all of this information against Donald Trump. He doesn't verify it. He doesn't even know where it came from. He said he didn't know that there's from Fusion GPS, that he didn't know that it came from Hillary Clinton's campaign. No, he just denies all of that. Okay, this is so important, for the FBI to spy on a presidential campaign, especially the party that's not in power, is just unbelievably hurtful to our whole democracy, to the integrity of our whole elections. James Comey was just so partisan. Extremely partisan. And you compare that to with HRC and her emails and deleting all of those emails and going in and getting the server or interrogating her. Nothing. Basically absolutely nothing. Okay. So the partisanship of James Comey is just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. He denies knowing about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, how incredibly biased they were, that Peter Strzok said he would stop the Trump's candidacy. Okay. This is really unbelievable for us to try. And then this whole witch hunt on Russian collusion, just because Donald Trump makes a joke about Russia knowing where HRC's emails went to. Literally. That is the fountain. That's the spring of all the water of this Russian collusion thing, is from Donald's joke. It's really unbelievable. So James Comey denies basically everything about the dossier. How did Steele dossier get to the FBI? Comey Plum didn't know. Did the FBI confirm his information? Comey couldn't remember. Had he studied before signing the Carter Page warrant application that gave the FBI the power to rifle through Page's life, both past and present? Nope. Comey didn't think that was necessary, though he did hear that from someone that Page was supposedly working for the Russian government. So he remembers the dirt on Carter Page or the supposed Russian collusion, but he doesn't remember anything else about how he built this case to go to the FISA court to spy on an American citizen, to get permission to do that. Oh, no. To spy on Carter Page? No, it's just shoddy at best. So it's we move on. And James Comey now wants Donald Trump not to get reelected. He's a full-blown Democrat guy. Whatever. He's extremely biased. He's participating in politics now, using his former position at the FBI. This is really just simply amazing. I thought Donald Trump might fire James Comey when the day before, as I remember it, HRC said that, she would fire. She was interviewed and she said, I would have fired James Comey too. So Donald just fires her. So Hillary Clinton thinks Donald should fire Comey. Donald wants to fire Comey because he's a complete idiot. Okay. Even James Comey says in testimony that the President of the United States, of course, can fire the FBI director without cause anytime he wants. Okay. The Department of Justice is within the Article 2, the presidency of the United States. It's within the executive office, executive branch. So anyhow, I love it. Donald tweeted today, I don't care. This is a quote from Chris Swecker. Donald tweeted, I don't care what you think of the president. It cannot bleed over to the FBI. Comey is confirming there is bias in the FBI. This is really, we talk about destroying the FBI's reputation. For a director of the FBI to use the power of the FBI. I mean, we don't have a national military. We don't have soldiers running around in the United States with guns and stuff. We have a National Guard, and the governors control the military on American soldiers, American soil. But we do have this little police force, a federal police force kind of, and that's the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Okay, they're in plain clothes, they're kind of low profile. We have them, okay, and they can investigate certain stuff. But to use them and this like national police force to aid you politically, for the President of the United States to use the FBI to help him politically, to help win an election, is just, it is so over the top. And it almost seems like no one really cares. This is really just so unbelievable. And James Comey is walking around promoting his book. It really is amazing. And HRC's just spouting off. You can see why we're so frustrated. Donald also tweeted this morning, James Comey just totally exposed his partisan stance by urging his fellow Democrats to take back the White House in 2020. In other words, he is and has been a Democrat. Comey had no right heading the FBI at any time, but especially after his mind exploded. Okay, we're going to have Republicans and Democrats lead the FBI. You know, I'm okay with that, as long as they can try really hard to set their bias aside and be fair. Okay, be totally fair. James Comey should have completely resigned before spying on Carter Page. Okay, what evidence did the FBI have? What reason did they have to spy on Carter Page? They had no good facts. We don't know of any good facts that the FBI had, any verifiable information that the FBI had to warrant Carter Page to be involved in this big, huge Russian conspiracy. I'm sorry. It is not there. And please send it to me if you can find it. It is not there. Absolutely not there. So anyhow, it's just really amazing. James Comey, what a joke. So I want to move on. There was a little, it was in the Oval Office. It was on live TV. We had Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer there with Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and Mike Pence. And I tell you, Chuck Schumer will not even look at the Donald. And Chuck, and Donald goes, I'm going to shut the government down. I'm going to shut the government down if we don't get border security. And Chuck is just really going crazy. He's debating him. He's disrespectful to Donald, but no one seems to care. Will not even look at him. And so it heats up between Donald and Chuck Schumer. I love it. The Donald is so tough. He ran on border security. So Chuck won't, he can't, the Democrats used to support a wall, and so strong southern border, but now that Donald wanted the wall, now they're against it. Okay. So it's hashtag resist. They're just going to be against the wall. Politically, they're not going to give it to Donald, but okay, that's fine. Right. But look, people are going to call them out here on this, that they're just being political. They're not doing what's right for the country. They're stonewalling Americans who voted for Donald, and they want stronger border security. We want a wall. We need to save some money. Defending that border is getting very expensive. A wall can help us with that. I really believe that. A lot of other people do. We need to do this. We need to, we need to do our best. These people are just climbing right over or walking right in where there's no wall at all. Okay, it's ridiculous. Americans are tired of all of this illegal immigration. They really are. And Donald's supporters are really into this, but the Democrats are just everything against what Donald wants. So Chuck says he'll shore it up, or he said something like that. Okay, so he will give Donald a bone on this border security, but no talk of the wall. Okay, it's immoral. I mean, Nancy Pelosi said it's immoral. I mean, that's funny because Nancy Pelosi supported Israel when they built their wall. Oh, I guess the wall in Israel trying to keep all the Arabs from just coming in and killing all the Jews in Israel is okay. That's morally okay. But a border wall on the southern border of the United States and Mexico, that's not okay? I'm very confused, Nancy. I'm very confused. Please explain that to me. So another explanation is Google. Okay, I tell you, whenever I get on Google and I search for stories, I never get Fox News articles. I never get Breitbart. It never pops up. I have to search Fox News, Google Sundar Pichai. I have to put Fox News in the search, or Breitbart or another conservative news organization in the search to get it to come up. Google will not give it to me. Okay, Apple News is, same way. These platforms are so far skewed to the left. This is brilliant. So Sundar, CEO of Google, he's in front of the House Judiciary Committee. And this Democrat, I give this guy kudos, this Representative Joe Lofgren, he says, ask him, why when you search the word idiot, does a picture of President Trump come up? What is going on? Okay. And he goes, is this manipulated or what's going on? And Pichai, he gives this long, just bogus response. Okay. And so Lofgren says, so it's not some little man sitting behind the curtain figuring out what we're going to show the users, basically a compilation of what users are generating. And Pichai says no. Okay, so this is such lies. Okay. We've talked about this before. If you search Martin Luther King, Google will give you a card. It's kind of a little bit of an information thing, and it's kind of a specially made little thing for Martin Luther King. You do it for Muhammad, little card comes up, information card comes up for Muhammad. You can see all the search results, but Google will give you this handy-dandy, pretty little information spot, right? Oh, but if you do Jesus Christ, nothing comes up. Oh, no, Jesus Christ doesn't have a card. So are you trying to tell me that no human interaction is allowed that to happen? Also, another interesting fact is you can Google American scientists, and it's mainly just a bunch of black American scientists, okay, and which you don't recognize hardly any of them, okay. That's what mostly you get with these searches. Okay, so we all know there has been manipulation in these search results. And Google has admitted in the past that they will alter these things. Okay, when user type, this is from Google has said, when users type queries into the Google search bar, our goal is to make sure they receive the most relevant answers in a matter of seconds. Search is not used to set a political agenda, and we don't bias our results toward any political ideology. Every year we issue hundreds of improvements to our algorithms to ensure they surface high quality content in response to users' queries. We continue to work to improve Google search, and we never rank search results to manipulate political sentiment. This is lies. Google knows what my search results are. I mean, I am so deep into Google. I use them for everything. Okay. And why in the world, when I search for news articles, do they give me liberal stuff that I never, ever click on? I mean, CNN is going to pop up number one every time. It is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Liberal results, atop the list. Okay. And so look at this article from the Daily Caller. Google employees sought to block Breitbart from ads, emails show. So there are ads that show that, no, they thought Breitbart was hate speech. Google employees sought to use alleged hate speech. Hate speech. Okay, what is hate speech? Oh, hate speech is basically conservative politics, okay? Because Google, they're a bunch of leftists, and anyone who disagrees with them is immoral, and it's hate speech. And speech is really just like violence to them. So they used hate speech as a pretense for banning Breitbart from taking part in the advertising program, the emails show. So good grief. Okay, we know. Okay, and you guys saw that Friday show, the Fantastic Friday presentation Google has like every Friday. I forgot what the name of it is. After the election of Donald Trump, they were just bewildered. They were in tears. It's like there's not one person working at Google who's a conservative. It's like there's not one person working there who supported Donald Trump or even voted for him. They were just in tears and appalled and just couldn't believe it happened. And they basically going to do everything they can to go against this immoral president. I mean, this racist, bigot, homophobe president they think Donald Trump is. It's unbelievable. So anyhow, Google is just, I mean, we know what they're doing. Facebook's doing the same thing. Twitter's doing the same thing. Okay, these tech companies are run by flaming leftists who hate Donald Trump and all the people who voted for Donald Trump. People like me. They think we're just full of hate and that we're racist and that, Tim Cook, he calls it immoral. Okay, wow. I mean, it's just really just mind-boggling. But this is what they have. They are publishers now. They're not just open platforms. No, they are policing their platforms and they're getting rid of hate speech. Whatever that is. How are they defining that? Okay, we all know that the conservatives get creamed on this stuff, and the leftists just get off scot-free. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But it is what it is. And, these corporations, I mean, they can have their bias, but they're going to, if they want to be, publishers, then they're going to have to, they can be sued then for false content or hurting other people. If they're not going to just be open source, if they're just not going to be a platform, then they're going to be liable for what they put on there, what they allow on their platforms. So anyhow, it's truly amazing, but it is what it is. And so we're just going to have to just deal with it the best we can. Speaking of dealing with what the best we can, this is a great article again from American Spectator, the article written by Brandon Weichert, Afghanistan, What's in a Victory. This is really a great article. And I really totally feel like in Afghanistan, originally what we were trying to do is we're trying to go after Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, which we did after 9/11. But then that kind of morphed into a war on the Taliban that kind of supported Al-Qaeda. And then the Taliban, they kind of run and hide in Pakistan. They get more fierce. We kill a lot of them, but they hide in Pakistan. Now we're starting to leave Afghanistan. They're just pretty much taking over the whole country again. Okay, this is a joke. The Russians couldn't. I mean, this Afghanistan is a bunch of like a little fiefdoms, a bunch of little tribes, warlords. I mean, it's not even a country. Okay, so it's just a rogue nation. I really agree with Weichert in this article that we should probably take this policy of mowing the grass. Okay, so this is kind of what Israel does in the Gaza Strip. Israel pretty much leaves the Gaza Strip alone. Okay, But then, all the baddies, Hamas starts rallying the troops there. They get really bad, and they probably start lobbing a few missiles into Israel like they always do so often. So then Israel just hits them hard and kind of mows the grass, kind of mows them down a little bit, goes after them, attacks them, tries to kill all the baddies, and then just leave them alone. And they just wait to mow the grass. What are the choices in Afghanistan? What do we do? Just colonize the whole country? That's not going to work. Okay, these people. These warlords there. This is a centuries old issue with these people. So maybe this idea of just mowing the grass, getting the Americans out of there, keeping an eye on things. If Al-Qaeda gets going or ISIS or something, we can just go in there and mow the grass, kind of blow up the bad guys, and then leave. So we don't leave our troops there in harm's way. That reminds me, I've been watching the series on Netflix, Medal of Honor, and they are great. Those are great episodes of the men who've won the Medal of Honor. I'm really enjoying watching those. Just incredibly fascinating. Okay, let's skip on to something not so awesome. And this is, I wondered why Hillary Clinton, what she was doing in India the other day. Well, Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, they went to India, and they were attending a major donor's family wedding in India. Okay, Fox News article. Hillary Clinton and her closest confidant, Huma Abedin, traveled to India this weekend to attend a lavish wedding hosted by the country's richest family that has generously donated to the Clinton Foundation. The former Democrat presidential candidate and her aide are attending a nearly week-long celebration of the marriage of Isha Ambani, the 20-year-old daughter of Mukesh Ambani, India's richest and the world's 19th richest man, whose wealth valued around $43 billion. Oh, there we go. The presence of Clinton and Abedin is surprising since the bride's father has been working with Clinton's foundation for years, donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to the controversial nonprofit. Clinton has reportedly dined with Abanis in March after her speech at a conference in Mumbai. She visited the family's Mumbai home named Antilla that has 27 stories, 3 helipads, and rumored to be the second most expensive property in the world, just after Buckingham Palace in England, according to the Washington Post. The attendees of the wedding, including Ariana Huffington, Priyanka Chopra, and Nick Jonas, and much of the Bollywood, were flown by private planes and brought by luxury sedans. They were given access to an app that detailed the wedding's activities. On Sunday, Beyoncé performed at the pre-wedding party. The artist posted a photo on Instagram of one of her outfits and a video giving a sneak peek of the performance. Wow. It remains unclear if Bill Clinton was also scheduled to attend the wedding. Both Clintons were seen together during the funeral of George Herbert Walker Bush. The Clintons recently kickstarted their speaking tour, which is currently on pause and set to return in the coming months. I guess, there's only a couple people in those large auditoriums. The tour so far hasn't been the resounding success once could have hoped for, with the former president and former Secretary of State speaking in largely empty audiences while the ticket prices are plummeting. Oh my. Oh, I'm so sorry. This was a fascinating little article I saw in Lexington that more than 50 people were charged with shoplifting. This is really incredible. These people shoplift, and they had stolen $8,200 worth of stuff. So it's amazing how much shoplifting still happens. And it truly is amazing. And most companies don't even really try that hard to stop it. Walmart, I think, it's just called shrink. It's just they lose a lot of stuff. I think they're locking up their alcohol now. It's really pretty sad. It's funny, a lot of this is going to be stopped. I mean, people like Jeff Bezos with Amazon Prime. I mean, when we order on Amazon, there is no shoplifting. Think how much Jeff Bezos saves by not losing, I don't know, 10% of their goods from shoplifting. I forgot what it is, called shrink. And it's pretty high, according to some reports. So anyhow, this is really sad. But what will eventually happen, I know those Amazon stores, they're brick and mortar stores, that you have to swipe a credit card before you can even go in. I mean, this is why Uber and Lyft is so awesome, because they never have people who just run away and don't pay their fare. Because before they even come and get you, they have your credit card information. So this is really just hurts the poor, because they don't have any credit. They don't have credit cards. They have to use cash for everything. So all these price increases from shoplifting is passed on down to the consumer. It's really going to hurt the poor. And so people with credit cards, so we make sure they pay, don't shoplift, will benefit from all these new services like Amazon. And the poor will have a hard time because they don't have credit to participate. It's really sad. I'm glad in Lexington they're cracking down. So one more article, then I want to close up with the discussion on the word of wisdom. This is an article that came out. This is a study by Valentine Bolotny and Natalia Emanuel. They examined wage differences between male and female bus and train operators working in the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority during 2011 to 2017. So this is just an ideal. This is a big government-run thing. They're very rigid, and it's a union contract, so all employees receive the same training, start at the same wages. Okay, this is like socialism 101. Okay, wage increases, promotion, and other benefits are all doled out on the basis of seniority with little managerial discretion allowed. Okay, so this is just like a job for life. Okay, you can't be fired. I mean, this is really the worst case scenario. Okay, these employees are it's not going to be very competitive or cutthroat. Seniority also is the sole determinant of employees' work opportunities, including choice of schedules, routes, vacation days, and overtime hours. Under such a contract, one would expect men and women to earn about the same amount. Yet the research found that female MBTA operators still took home only 89 cents for every dollar that male operators made. Oh, how could that be? Quote, the earnings gap persisted even when we conditioned on seniority, allowing us to explain the gap fully by the differences in choices that men and women make when faced with the same choice set in the workplace. The short explanation, men take 48% fewer unpaid hours off and work 83% more overtime hours per year than women. That, of course, adds up to more take-home pay for men. But what explains the difference in hours worked? Women have greater demand for workplace flexibility and lower demand for overtime work hours than men, largely because women are responsible for men more household and child care duties than men. Okay? There is no gender gap in pay. Okay? When you look at equal work for equal pay. No. There is no evidence that men just get paid more than women just because they're men. No. This is a perfect example. There is a pay gap. Men do make more money than women. And that's because we work harder. We work more hours. Okay? We take less vacation. Just like this study showed. It's not sexism. Okay? That is a lie. Okay? I know in my field, men and women get paid the exact same amount. Okay? And then when there's a salary, but the jobs that I had where it's fee for service, where if you want to work more, you can stay later and work more and earn more money. Oh, the men make more than the women. I know that. Most of my female partners wanted to get back to their families, and some of the men were just willing to stay and stay longer at the hospital and work more. Okay, this is just fake news. Okay, there is no gender pay gap. Okay, there isn't. It's just a lie. So I'm glad this study supports that. I wanted to end the show talking about the word of wisdom. So as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we do not drink alcohol. We don't use tea or coffee, use tobacco, or use harmful drugs. I mean, these are members of the church who are active and full in the faith, okay? These are, I won't be, kicked out of the church for participating in those things, okay? But I wouldn't be a member in full standing to be able to go to the temple, to be able to participate in the ordinances there at the temple. So that's the pinnacle of our worship as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, why don't we drink alcohol? So why don't we use tea or coffee? Why don't we smoke or use tobacco or other harmful drugs? Well, it's really pretty simple. This came out, there's a section, Doctrine and Covenants, section 89. Okay, this was revealed to the prophet Joseph Smith in Ohio, Kirtland, Ohio, February 27th, 1833. Okay, and he said that inasmuch as men drinketh wine or strong drink among you, behold, it's not good. Okay, and it says that strong drinks are not for the belly, but for the washing of your bodies. And again, tobacco is not for the body, neither for the belly. It's not good for man. And again, hot drinks are not for the body or belly. Hot drinks have been interpreted by the prophet of the church to mean coffee and tea. So how do we know this? Why do we do this? Well, we believe in a modern day prophet. So we believe that the church was organized, that Jesus Christ himself put his church once again on the face of the earth. He used to have the apostles when he was on the earth over in Israel, in Jerusalem, in the Middle East. When he was on the earth, he organized his church with apostles, 12 apostles. Then he was crucified. Then the apostles led the church for a while, but then we believe that the church fell apart. Most of those apostles were killed, and the church fell apart. And it wasn't until 1820 that Jesus Christ used Joseph Smith as a prophet, called him to be a prophet, and he used that prophet to put the church back on the earth again. And Joseph Smith then ordained 12 men to be apostles again. And so now we have a prophet who was Joseph Smith, and we have 12 apostles, and then we have that church. And then that prophet, when he passes away, the senior apostle becomes the leader of the church. And so now we have President Russell M. Nelson, who's the president and an apostle. He's an apostle, but he's the prophet of our church today. So we believe, just like Moses was a prophet, Noah, Abraham, we believe that President Nelson is an apostle, a modern day apostle and prophet of the Lord. So he can run the church. So we know, and the church is Jesus Christ's church. And so we know that we're not supposed to partake, that God doesn't want us to use tobacco, drugs, harmful drugs, alcohol, coffee, and tea. Now, people ask me, why not? You drink Diet Coke, you drink Diet Mountain Dew, you drink this other stuff, it has caffeine in it. I go, yeah, and I eat chocolate that has caffeine in it. We don't know. We don't know. This is a health code that we have, and we just know that God doesn't want us to partake in these substances. And Latter-day Saints overall, there's been studies shown that overall, members of the church who, keep this health code are physically, we do benefit from a health standpoint. Okay. So anyhow, that is why we don't partake in those things. It's just because we believe that God has asked us not to partake in those things because he's told the modern day prophets, Joseph Smith and the other prophets who lead the church today, that we should not partake in these things. And so we don't. So that's why, as Latter-day Saints, we don't drink or we don't smoke We don't drink coffee or tea and use harmful drugs. That's why we don't do those things, because we believe God has asked us not to do those things. And it's been a great blessing in my life. When I joined the church at 19, I wasn't using those things at that time anyhow. But it was, I've been blessed in my life. Life's hard enough for me as it is, being sober, that I don't need to be high on drugs or alcohol. So anyhow, that is the show. That is all I've got for today. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. Subscribe at iTunes or SoundCloud, or watch the video on YouTube at the Philip Koerper Show. Go to philkoerper.com for further information. You guys have a great day. Thank you for listening.